Well, I know you are anxious to get to our ritual today, but first, a few words. I want to start with a story by Rabbi Edwin Friedman. He told this story in his book, Friedman's Fables, short stories that call us to be who we really want to be, in a sense. Friedman was a rabbi to many rabbis and ministers around the country, and a leader in thinking about how systems affect who we are as people, especially our families. So Friedman tells this story where a young traveler is gone on a long trip by foot to accept a promising opportunity. He crosses a bridge and meets a strange man on the bridge who calls him over, and the man calls and says, come here. And when he approaches the man, the strange man hands the traveler the end of a rope and then jumps himself over the bridge. He is tied to the other end of the rope. And so suddenly the traveler has to brace himself on the bridge, holding the rope and the man dangling over the crevice. The stranger dangling near death, and the traveler holding on for near death. Hours go by and the traveler pleads with the man to pull himself up, that he has somewhere to be, that his journey is taking him to a special opportunity. The stranger refuses and says, "You are my responsibility. Don't let go." The traveler is stuck. He tries to tie off on the bridge, but there's nowhere to tie. He pleads again with the man to climb up, to help himself. Finally, the traveler has no choice to go over the bridge, over the railing, to his own demise and never realize his opportunity, or to let go. How do you think it ends? Maybe your answer has something to do with who you are or who you are just this morning. But this is a lesson designed to remind us that we can't be everything for everyone, or we get derailed from our purpose. And it is a more general reminder that when we are ready to move on with our lives and evolve, that we are usually confronted with attachments that no longer work and try to hold us back. It is a reminder that there is usually someone or something that wants to keep things just the way they are, rather than let them evolve. Wary of us creating a new life, a new chapter, a new way, a new relationship. It is a curious human thing that precisely when we are ready to change our ways, someone or something wants us to remain the same, and that someone is often a friend or a family member or someone who is dead or someone who is alive, or it could very well be ourselves. The stranger on the end of the rope dangling over the crevice is symbolic. The man on the bridge holding the rope is symbolic and instructive. It's scary to let go, even when it might be another's demise and set us free. And it raises all kinds of ethical questions, one of which is to those of you who get roped in by others' needs and desires. I know you are out there. How far do you extend your responsibility to save another? What is the limit? Is it your mission to take on? One thing is true of humanity, that we are all roped in by attachments to people and ideas, to self-understandings, to patterns of behavior, to self-images, to desires that give us stability and our identity. We attach to those for good reason. Sometimes they are good for us. Sometimes they do not serve us well. They can become pieces of ourselves that we want to hold on to, but we know must die so that we can journey toward renewal. I know that someone here is standing on that bridge right now, holding a stranger or a loved one by the rope and wants to let go, but can't. Because some part of us also dies when we let go. I worry about this as a pastor and a parent and a husband, that I get messages that if I am not something or I don't do something, others can't be happy. And I feel responsible for others' happiness and fulfillment, but I know that there's a difference between empathy and being tied to another's happiness or fulfillment. It often requires that we take care of ourselves first and others second, that we stand by, stand with, but don't get roped in. Rabbi Friedman says once he stopped trying to educate people and instead began trying to free them of this syndrome. So he created workshops he called How to Get Your Kid to Drop Out and Save $100,000 in Tuition. He started each session by describing techniques he would use, like how to escalate conflict, how to screw up communication, and how to increase the generation gap. He told parents that they should read everything they could about parenting to ensure that they became more anxious, inconsistent, and less self-confident, because they would surely save a bundle on tuition. He was trying to shed light on how being so bound up in our children's success means often that we can't breathe, that we can't function or live the lives that are best for us and for everyone. The same would be true for non-parents in the room. His theory was that the stronger we are and the less controlling of others' decisions and the outcomes therein, the better we would be. Don't take the rope. This all leads us to our burning ritual today. At the core of what we are doing is the soul food you need to journey on powerfully in your life. Jack Kornfield and Christina Feldman, two Buddhist teachers, say letting go is the essence of spiritual life, the heart of any practice. They say to let go brings an immediate and profound revelation that only when we are no longer full of opinions and expectations are we truly receptive. That only when we are no longer afraid of loss do we begin to open in a wholehearted way to the world around us. That only when we cease to equate aloneness with loneliness do we discover what it means to be together. And that letting go is an expression of compassion for ourselves and the world we live in. So what does that mean for us? Each of us here has something to leave behind in the old year. The new year gives us a chance to reset. It takes courage to name the parts of ourselves, a relationship, an attitude, a worry, a person, a thorn in our side, a pile of old letters, a love, a behavior, a vision, and let go of the rope that binds us to them. It takes courage to know that we will survive and that we will give back more if we free ourselves of burdens and say goodbye to things or people or memories or hopes that no longer serve us. The poet says, you get good at letting go, and then you get better. I invite you now to write a thing or two that you are letting go today. Something on the end of your rope that you want to relinquish for 2019. And I invite you to burn those words with us A ritual that is only magical because we are ready to do it together today, once again, to let go of the rope. A moment now to pause and write a word or two. We're not writing a book or a chapter, just a name, a word, a descriptor. And then the ushers will bring you from the back and the center, from the front and the sides, down in the circles to get you back to your pews to burn those words here.